My real partner, Red Heart. That was the caption my wife wrote under a photo of her sitting on her boss's lap. Yeah, you heard that right. Her arms around his neck, his hands on her thighs, both grinning like they just got away with murder. She posted it publicly, on her work page, with zero shame. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I just sat there staring at the screen, feeling everything inside me shut down, like flipping off the power to my own soul. I opened the drawer, pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared weeks ago, because deep down, I knew this day would come. I placed them on the kitchen table right under the vase of flowers I bought her last weekend. Then I went back to her post and calmly wrote my reply. Congratulations. The divorce papers are on the kitchen table. I hit post. And just like that, her whole life started to burn. This wasn't just the end of a marriage. This was about to become the storm that would wreck her career, her reputation, and every smug lie she ever told. And it all started with one Instagram post. She came home that evening like nothing happened. Like her double life didn't just get exposed to hundreds of people, coworkers included. The sound of her heels clacking on the hardwood floor used to be something I looked forward to. Now, it made my jaw tighten. She tossed her purse onto the counter and called out, "Hey babe, what's for dinner? I'm starving." I didn't respond. Just sat at the table, arms crossed, eyes on her. She glanced toward me, then at the manila envelope lying dead center on the table, right next to the roses I bought her 5 days ago. "What's this?" she asked, already pulling out her phone. Her fingers were trembling. She opened Instagram. I saw her whole face shift, curiosity, confusion, then panic. Her lips parted, but no words came out. She read my comment. Twice. 3 times. As if it would somehow change if she kept blinking hard enough. "You posted this?" she said quietly, her voice cracking. "No," I said flatly. "Your real partner must have done it." She looked like she'd been slapped. "That's not what I meant by the caption," she tried to explain, stammering. "It was just a joke. People at work say stuff like that all the time. It's just workplace banter, you know how it is." "Save it, Madison," I interrupted. "I've seen the messages. The late-night texts. The trips that didn't match your schedule. I played dumb long enough." Her eyes flicked left and right like a trapped animal. She opened her mouth to speak again, then shut it. For once, her lies weren't coming fast enough. "And now HR is involved," I added, leaning back in the chair. "I wonder if Ethan's wife knows. Or your boss's boss." She went pale. "You didn't," she whispered. "I did. And I'm not done yet." For a second, it looked like she was going to cry. But Madison didn't cry when she got caught. She calculated. Her face hardened. "You really think you're the victim here?" she snapped. "You've been boring for years. You're a routine. A walking calendar. I needed someone who actually understands me. Who pushes me." I stood up slowly. "That's funny," I said, stepping toward her. "Because the only thing that's getting pushed now is you right out of my life." She slapped the envelope off the table. Papers scattered like confetti across the floor. "You think you're going to embarrass me and walk away clean?" she spat. "I built this life just as much as you did. You can't erase me from it." "No," I said, "but I can make damn sure you're not in it anymore." I picked up the papers, gathered them calmly, and placed them back in the envelope. "I'll have my lawyer contact you tomorrow," I said. "And Madison, you might want to update your resume. Word gets around fast." She didn't reply, just stood there, shaking, staring at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. But I wasn't the same man anymore. That version of me died the moment she called someone else her real partner. The next morning, I woke up before the sun. I hadn't slept much, just stared at the ceiling all night with Rusty curled up at my feet, like he could feel everything unraveling too. Madison hadn't come back to the bedroom. She either slept on the couch or didn't sleep at all. I didn't care. I brewed a pot of coffee, poured myself a mug, and scrolled through my phone. Notifications. Hundreds of them. Likes, messages, tags. Everyone had seen the comment. My message had spread like wildfire. Even people from high school were DMing me saying, "Man, I'm so sorry, but damn, that was legendary." Some called it petty. Some called it power. I didn't feel either. Just empty. At 8:17 a.m. sharp, I got the email. Forwarded from Madison's company. Official HR response. She'd been placed under internal review for inappropriate conduct involving a superior. Ethan too. Apparently the board didn't take kindly to their little public display of idiocy. Word was, someone from legal had already been looped in. Madison's name was radioactive. I took another sip of coffee and let that news settle in. By 9:30, she walked into the kitchen like a ghost of herself. Hair a mess, eyes red, phone clutched in her hand like it held the last ounce of her identity. "You ruined my job," she said, not even trying to mask the venom in her voice. I looked up from my laptop. "No, Madison, you did that all on your own. I just turned on the lights." She scoffed, pulled out a chair, and sat down, as if we were going to have a civilized chat over breakfast. "You're overreacting," she started. "It wasn't some grand affair. It was just a mistake." I cut in. "A slip? An accident? Save it. You called him your real partner. That wasn't a typo." She didn't deny it, just looked away. "I gave you everything," I said, quieter this time. "Time, support, patience. I watched you come home late for months, and I convinced myself it was ambition. I believed you when you said the girl's night ran long, when you said you needed space. I gave you space, and you filled it with him." Her lips pressed together. Still no apology. Then she said it, the line that sealed everything. "Maybe if you weren't so predictable, I wouldn't have needed someone else." I stood up, slowly, not in anger, but in clarity. I finally saw her, the woman she really was. "You didn't need someone else," I said. "You just wanted to be worshipped. You wanted attention, admiration, and when I stopped playing the cheerleader, you found someone who would lie to you instead of love you." She rolled her eyes. "Spare me the moral high ground." "No," I said. "I'll spare you the house." She froze. "What?" "I spoke to my lawyer this morning. Turns out, posting publicly about your affair while still married isn't great for your case, especially when it's with your boss. So congrats. You're going to need that real partner of yours to help cover your rent. Because you're out." "You wouldn't dare," she snapped. I smirked. "Already did." And I walked out, leaving her in that chair, holding a phone filled with the ruins of her reputation. By noon, movers were scheduled. It wasn't about being cruel. It was about being done. I wasn't dragging this out. Wasn't sitting through some therapy session with a woman who weaponized her charm and wore betrayal like perfume. She tried everything in those next few hours. Crying didn't work. Screaming didn't work. Then came the guilt trips. "You're throwing away everything we built because of one mistake." "One mistake?" I echoed, staring at her. "You didn't trip and fall onto his lap, Madison. You chose this. For months. And then you bragged about it." She didn't have a response for that. Just crossed her arms and glared at me from the corner like I'd kicked a puppy. When the movers arrived, she followed them around like a haunted shadow, making passive-aggressive comments under her breath about what was hers and what was ours. I didn't argue. I'd already paid the extra fee to have her stuff packed and sent to her sister's place. She'd texted her earlier. I saw it on her phone screen when it lit up. "He's kicking me out like I'm garbage. Can I crash for a bit?" Her sister, Rachel, replied, "Honestly, you did this to yourself." That made me smile, just a little. By 4 p.m., the house was quiet again. No sound of her ridiculous heels. No smell of her overly sweet perfume. No tension crawling up the walls like invisible spiders. Just peace. But peace doesn't come cheap. I sat on the edge of the bed and scrolled through her Instagram one last time. She had deleted the photo with Ethan. Too late. Screenshots were everywhere. I had 10 friends send it to me just in case. That night, Ethan called me. I stared at the screen as his name flashed, Ethan from work, and let it ring 5 times before I picked up. "Hey man," he said. "Look, I didn't know you two were going through stuff. Madison told me you were separated." I didn't want to. "Save it," I said. "I don't care what she told you. I care what you both did." There was a pause. Then, more softly, he said, "I think I'm about to lose my job." I laughed. Not cruelly. Just the bitter kind that escapes when everything's too broken to fix. "You lost something more valuable," I said. "Your dignity." I hung up. No yelling. No threats. No Hollywood drama. Just silence. The sound of 2 lives coming apart at the seams, and one man walking away with his head high. The next morning, I changed the locks. Bought new sheets. Tossed the damn tulips in the trash. She texted once. "You'll regret this." I didn't answer. Because for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the one being lied to. 2 days passed. Then 3. The texts stopped. The calls too. I expected some kind of comeback, a tantrum, a doorstep scene, maybe even a fake apology laced with tears. But Madison was silent. Too silent. That's when I knew she was planning something. On the 4th day, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address, but the handwriting was hers. Inside, a letter. 2 pages. Handwritten, not typed. That alone told me she was desperate. Madison never wrote anything by hand unless it was performative. The letter was a masterpiece of narcissism. She didn't apologize. Not really. She explained. Justified. Played the victim. Said I had emotionally abandoned her years ago. Said Ethan made her feel seen. Said I gave up on us, and that I forced her into someone else's arms. The line that really got me? You always wanted a quiet, simple life. I wanted to be extraordinary. She signed it. Madison, your real partner once, remember? I folded the letter neatly, placed it back into the envelope, and tossed it in the fire pit out back. Rusty laid beside me, tail twitching, head on his paws, watching the flame chew through the past. Later that night, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Mr. Carter, a voice said. This is Melissa, from HR at Starwave Media. Do you have a moment? I almost laughed. Yes, I said. I have more than a moment. She was calm, polite, and professional, the way people are when they're skating on legal ice. We're conducting a formal investigation regarding the conduct of both Ms. Madison Carter and Mr. Ethan Ross. Your recent online exchange was noted. We'd like to understand the context fully. Would you be open to sharing anything relevant? So that's where we were now. I didn't hold back. Sent screenshots, dates, copies of messages I'd quietly collected weeks before her post ever went viral. Turns out, Madison and Ethan had been violating company policy for months. Personal trips billed as business. Hotel rooms shared. All of it hidden, or so they thought. Melissa thanked me and said the company would be in touch. By the end of the week, Madison had lost her job. So did Ethan. She didn't call, didn't text. But I heard through a mutual friend that she tried to sue the company, claimed emotional damages, gender discrimination, the whole circus. Didn't work. She burned every bridge, thinking she'd fly across the flames. Instead, she fell right through them. I thought it would feel like victory, like revenge wrapped in a bow. But it didn't. It just felt over. The weight wasn't gone yet, but it was lifting, slowly. And for the first time in months, I slept through the night. A week later, I was cleaning out the hallway closet when I found one of her scarves, the red silk one she used to wear on date nights when she wanted all eyes on her. For a second, I just stared at it, holding it like it was some sacred relic from a past life. Then I realized it still smelled like her perfume. I threw it straight into the trash. That evening, I got an unexpected knock on the door. I opened it to find Rachel, Madison's sister, standing there with her arms crossed and an expression I couldn't quite read. She looked tired, fed up. I hope it's not a bad time, she said. No, I replied, stepping aside. Come in. We sat at the kitchen table. The same one where I left the divorce papers. The same one where I thought we'd share years of meals and late-night laughter. Now it felt like a crime scene. Rachel didn't sugarcoat anything. She's spiraling, she said. Staying at my place, eating junk, drinking too much. She keeps talking about how everyone's betrayed her. I raised an eyebrow. She really sees herself as the victim, huh? Rachel sighed. Always has. But this time, even she can't lie her way out of it. You exposed her to the world. And the worst part? She knows she deserves it. There was a long pause. Then she added, I always liked you, Jack. I never said it out loud, but you were the only decent part of that whole circus. I nodded. Thanks. I also came to give you this, she said, reaching into her bag and pulling out a small black notebook. It's her journal. She left it out on the counter. I skimmed a few pages before I realized what it was. You should read it. I hesitated. I don't know if I need more reasons to hate her. Rachel looked me straight in the eye. Maybe. Or maybe you'll finally understand what you were up against. After she left, I placed the journal on the coffee table. It sat there for hours as I paced the house, went back and forth in my mind. Part of me wanted to toss it, forget every word. But another part, the wounded part, needed closure. At midnight, I opened it. The first few pages were harmless. Notes. Reminders. But then came the real thoughts, raw, unfiltered. She wrote about the thrill of lying, how it made her feel powerful, how Ethan made her feel dangerous, electric, how I was too safe, too honest. Then this line. Jack thinks love is loyalty. I think love is freedom. Maybe we were never in love, just using each other to feel whole. I closed the journal slowly. There it was. The truth, in her own words. I hadn't lost her. I never really had her. What I loved was the version of her she performed for me. The real Madison, the one who danced on the edge of selfishness and seduction, was never mine. She never belonged to anyone, not even herself. And suddenly, the anger lifted. Not forgiveness, not even peace, just detachment. She was gone, and I was still standing. A few days later, I walked into the local coffee shop, the same one Madison and I used to visit on Sunday mornings. I hadn't been back since the fallout. The barista, Tasha, recognized me instantly. "Jack," she said with a warm but cautious smile. "Haven't seen you in a while. You okay?" I nodded, offered a tired smile. "Getting there." She glanced down, then added quietly, "People around here talk, you know. I saw that post." What she did. I'm sorry. I appreciated her sincerity. "Thanks. It's been a strange couple of weeks." I took my coffee and sat in the corner booth. My booth. The one we always sat in. Except now, it was just me. And for the first time, it didn't sting. It just felt quiet. Clean. While I scrolled through my emails, a message popped in. Unknown address. No subject line. I opened it. I messed up. Everything. I thought I wanted a man who could challenge me. Instead, I found one who used me. He's gone now. And I have nothing. I don't want you back. I just want you to know you didn't deserve what I did. There was no name attached. No signature. But I knew who it was. I stared at the screen for a long time, debating whether to reply. I didn't. That night, I got a call from my lawyer. The divorce would be finalized by the end of the month. Fast track. Thanks to her public admission, the journal, and everything else. The house was mine. No alimony. No legal battle. Just a clean break. She tried to fight it at first. Claimed emotional coercion. But her journal destroyed any chance of that holding up. You don't get to play the victim when you write in ink how much you enjoyed the manipulation. I spent that weekend repainting the living room. A fresh coat. Clean walls. I took down every framed photo of us. Boxed them up. Dropped them off at her sister's. Rachel sent a text after. "Good move." She opened the box, stared at it for 10 seconds, then walked into the bathroom and vomited. You're in her head. Permanently. I didn't gloat. I just sat outside on the back porch with Rusty, watching the sky turn gold and pink. It was the first sunset in weeks that didn't feel like it was mocking me. And when my neighbor waved over the fence and asked if I wanted to come by for a barbecue the next evening, I didn't hesitate. I said yes, because I was done waiting around in silence for someone who never saw me, and I was finally ready to be seen by someone who would. 2 weeks later, I stood in front of the courthouse, final papers in hand. Just my name on the exit documents. Hers had already been signed, mailed in silently. Like the coward's signature at the end of a story, she was too ashamed to tell herself. It was over. Legally, spiritually, emotionally. No more pretending. No more wondering. No more what if. The sun was warm on my face as I walked back to my car. Windows down. Music low. I wasn't smiling, not yet, but I wasn't hollow anymore either. There was something else now. Something better. Clarity. The kind you only earn after walking through fire. In the weeks that followed, I did the things I'd forgotten I loved. Morning runs with Rusty. Late nights reading on the porch. Grabbing drinks with friends I hadn't seen in months. Friends who, one by one, admitted they always had a bad feeling about her, but never wanted to interfere. Turns out, people see more than you think. And they remember who stayed true when others played false. One afternoon, while cleaning out the last few boxes in the garage, I found an old photo, the two of us at the beach. Her in a sun hat. Me in sunglasses, laughing. It didn't hurt anymore. It didn't feel like a knife. Just a snapshot of two people who were pretending, and one who didn't realize it yet. I tossed it, along with every other remnant of the version of me that tolerated less than he deserved. Madison texted me only once after the finalization. "I miss who we were. I hope someday you'll remember me differently." I didn't respond, because I do remember her. Clearly, truthfully, no illusions left to protect. And here's what I've learned. For anyone out there who might be walking through their own storm. Love without loyalty is just performance. Passion without respect is manipulation. And a partner who betrays you isn't confused. They're calculated. Don't beg someone to love you the way you deserve. Make space for someone who already will. Because the minute I stopped trying to fix what she broke, I started to rebuild what she never touched. Myself.